And quite frankly, if we want to turn this ship around, right the ship, we need 6 points out of those 3 games.
Yeah. Woohoo! We are in a snow week. Yeah. Can't get any better.
Hello, welcome to Hawks Recap. The Blackhawks have just finished their 31st game of the season, and they win! They beat the Florida Panthers by a score of 3-2 in overtime to finish off their 3-game homestand with 3 straight victories, 6 out of 6 possible points. Ooh, it's a good day for Hawks Nation and therefore the world. Like I said, the Blackhawks playing their 3rd straight game at home with a day of rest in between, playing a Florida Panthers team that's on the back end of a back-to-back. This should be a game that the Hawks should dominate or should play well in and should control play. But that really wasn't the case. It was a pretty even first period, 9 shots for both teams, and then about halfway through the first period, the Hawks get a power play chance. We haven't really been able to see a good power play in quite some time for the Hawks, but this one was very good. They basically won the opening face-off in the offensive zone and then controlled the puck for essentially all 2 minutes of that power play, getting shots, trying different ways to get shots, going down low, coming back up high, trying to stuff it home, just doing a lot of different things. Their puck retrieval was great, just not allowing the Florida Panthers to really clear the puck, and got some really tired guys out, but the puck just would not go in. It was a very, very good power play. Unfortunately, the same old result that we're used to. Unfortunately, that power play would be the lone good power play of the night. The rest of the power plays the Hawks would get in this game were basically back to being absolute garbage. Then with about a little over 3 minutes left in the period, the Hawks would have a big time shift from their top line to DeBrincat, Tays, and Saad, putting the work in on the offensive zone, keeping the puck in below the goal line, just winning puck battles, supporting each other, and just creating opportunities. Puck retrieval was big, and Tays gets it over to DeBrincat, who finds Saad in front. He kind of whiffs on the shot, but it gets past Reimer. Anyhow, oh, what a big shift leading to a big goal. The Hawks get the first goal of the game and go up 1-0. Hinostroza would get called for a high sticking penalty with under a minute left in the first period. This is an alarming trend that's been going on for the Hawks in the last couple of games here. Something that just needs to get squashed. We can't keep allowing teams to get late period power plays and be able to possibly grab momentum. Now, thankfully, our PK unit's been really strong, but they're not perfect. They will allow, and they have allowed, goals. And the more chances we give our opponents to score goals right at the end of periods and grab momentum going into intermissions, the worse it's going to be for the Hawks. Thankfully, that did not happen, and the Hawks carried their 1-0 lead into intermission and into the second period. However, that penalty carried over to start the second period, and it seemed like the Panthers would use that to their advantage, had some really good looks, could not capitalize on it, but then would use kind of the momentum they gained from that for the rest of the period. And I'm going to tell you what, the second period for the Hawks was absolutely abysmal. That was maybe the worst period of hockey I've seen the Hawks play this year. At least defensively, it was the worst. That was atrocious. The Hawks would give up like 3 breakaways, or at least partial breakaways in the period. They had trouble getting the puck out of their zone, getting clean outlet passes. They were very, very sloppy on passes in the second period. And the Panthers got some really good offensive zone time because of it, and it showed in the shot totals. Florida outshot the Hawks 17-5 in that second period. And remember, this is a team that is on the back end of a back-to-back against a supposedly rested team at home. It's not good for the Hawks. Then with a little under 9 minutes to play in the second period, Bustad would get one of those breakaways and totally fool Crawford. Crawford was just thinking shot all the way, and at the last second, Bustad took it to his backhand and put it past Crawford. I mean, Crawford didn't really even move. Just completely fooled him, and it's a tie game 1-1. The defense would not get any help as John Arruda took a big hit along the boards. From my armchair medical view, it looked like he sustained a concussion. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I did play football through college. I've seen my fair share of people or players fighting concussion symptoms, and the way he got up and his feet, his legs were just kind of wobbling a little bit. You could kind of tell he's not with it. Suffice to say, he would not return to the game, which is good in my opinion. Well, it's not good, but I'm glad he wasn't allowed to return. We've seen so many times lately in hockey and other sports where guys get concussions but are allowed to play, and that's just, yeah, they might have been allowed or promoted back in the day, but nowadays with all the medical science and everything we have and the research, concussions are no joke. There is nothing funny about concussions. It can seriously mess you up. So I'm glad he wasn't allowed to come back, and we'll see if Kempny plays, or maybe Cody Franzen's going to be available for the next game, but it'll be interesting to see how these symptoms might affect him and how long he might be out. I mean, remember a couple years ago, or probably more than a couple years ago, Crosby missed like an entire year because of a concussion. Everybody's affected differently. So we shouldn't really assume kind of timetables here. He needs to get better on his own, and we'll see who takes his place in the meantime. Now, in regards to the hit, I don't think it was malicious at all. I don't even know if it was illegal or warranted a penalty. It was close. It was borderline. At first, I thought it was completely clean, but after looking at the replay, you could tell that the head was kind of the main point of contact, but it was so fast, and it's so hard to tell as a referee at game speed. I don't blame him for not calling a penalty, but I could see that call going either way, really. So the game would go into the third period tied at 1, and unfortunately the sloppy second period for the Hawks would carry over into the first half of the third, where the Florida Panthers would take the lead 4 minutes into the third period. McGinn, great job controlling the puck, skate to stick, and sniping it up over Crawford, but it all started with a turnover at the blue line for the Hawks and just sloppy play in general. The Hawks deserve to be down 2-1 at this point. Thankfully, that also seemed to give the Hawks a bit of a kick in the butt. They seemed to start pressing a little bit more, start controlling the play a little bit more, and trying to tie this game up and get rid of their sloppy play that they've had for a period and a half. And about 6 minutes left in the third, Brandon Saad pass it over to Taze, and Taze buries it top shelf over Reimer to tie the game up. Ooh, the captain with a big clutch goal late in the game. Where have we seen this before? Some happy memories come to mind for sure. The Hawks would have some really good looks near the end of the game looking for that game-winning goal, but nothing quite would go. Reimer made some big saves. Anisimov would hit a post with a redirect from a Kane shot. The fourth line would forecheck and really pressure. Wingels going hard to the net. Reimer and two other Panthers would just absolutely mug him. There was a big scuffle. I don't know how the Hawks didn't get a power play out of it, but in the end, this game goes into overtime with the game tied at 2. The Panthers would have a golden opportunity to win this game in overtime with a loose puck in front of Crawford. Crawford made some really big saves in overtime, but just chaos in front. Crawford's basically down and out. Puck would hit the crossbar. It would not go somehow. The Hawks live on. Then about halfway through the overtime period, Anisimov would do a great job pressuring Matheson. Matheson would kind of blow out a tire. Anisimov would get the puck and then spring Kane on a breakaway. He would beat Reimer low blocker side for the game-winning overtime goal, securing the Blackhawks' 6th point out of possible 6 points in the last 3 games, all at home. Overtime game-winning goal from Kane. Where have we seen that before? Brings up some pretty good memories. So that's it for the Blackhawks 3-game homestand. They win all 3 games. They didn't look very good in this one, but they pulled out the victory. That's really all that matters. We've been on the other side of that. The Florida Panthers outshooting the Hawks 37-28 in this one, but a win's a win. So we'll take it. Up next for the Hawks, they travel to Winnipeg to face the Jets, the first game of 3 straight divisional games. It would be nice to start off that stretch by extending the winning streak we currently have. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Hawks Recap. I really hope you enjoyed it, just as I hope you enjoyed the last couple of results here. Let me know your thoughts on the game and the team's performance down in the comments section below. I appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe, but most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and I will see you next time.